Thanks for joining Wanderin' Wino. I'm Sean Burgett, and today we've got a special treat. We are at Alma Rosa Winery with Richard Sanford. Thank you so much for joining us.
You're welcome, Sean.
And first, let me just say congratulations on your upcoming induction into the Vintners Hall of Fame.
Oh, thank you very much.
Tell us, how did you hear the news?
Oh golly, I was called by a representative of the CIA, the Culinary Institute of America, about 10 days ago, and he informed me that congratulations that I had been chosen to be inducted in the class of 2012. So it was a great honor to receive that news.
And I understand this is just the sixth year for it, so it's still kind of in its infancy of the Vintners Hall of Fame.
It is.
So
I'm learning more about it every day.
My understanding is there's 87 members that participates in the election, and I'll quote this short line from one of them that said this of you: Richard Sanford, whose pioneering work at Sanford and Benedict Vineyard helped put Santa Barbara County on the wine map. How does that make you feel?
Well, I'm very proud of that, actually.
So can you tell us a little bit about what it was like for you?
Actually, the first vineyard in the Santa Rita Hills, planted in 1970. I was interested in Pinot Noir and Burgundy-style wines, and I had studied geography in college. And so, with my interest in wine, I began to study the geography of wine, actually. And recognizing that Pinot Noir is the grape variety from Burgundy, I felt, you know, the original vineyards in Burgundy were planted by the Romans. So they've had a few thousand years to work out the details. And I figured that, well, they were onto something, you know, figuring the climate was very important for the grape varieties. So I went back in the climate records for 100 years, comparing climates in Burgundy with different climates in California. And something quite remarkable jumped out to me in my research. It's the transverse mountain range here in Santa Barbara. So driving from Los Angeles toward Santa Barbara, you're actually heading west. If you stand at the beach in Santa Barbara looking at the ocean, you're looking due south, which is an anomaly because you think of the coast of North America as going north and south. Well, the east-west mountains opening to the west to the ocean are open to the moderating influence of the winds. We're in the latitude of westerly winds, so the winds coming off the ocean moderate our climate. So I ultimately began driving up and down the valley with a thermometer in my car, recognizing that the climate was about 1 degree Fahrenheit a mile difference as you went east or west. And in those early days, you know, people thought I'd gone crazy looking at thermometers and studying the climates and so forth, but I had a lot of confidence in the research that I had done and chose a spot that was very well drained, just about 6 miles down the road, and planted a vineyard there called Sanford and Benedict Vineyard. Around California, I recognized that Pinot Noir was growing in climates that were too warm. It was my prejudice that we had to go and find a climate that was cooler. And curiously, I thought, as I looked all over the state, rather than where you are north and south, it was really where you are east or west, because as we go closer to the ocean, of course, it becomes cooler. Further inland, it's warmer. And
so in the early days, who were some of your wine influences? Who were some of the people that influenced you in the industry?
Well, in the industry, I think Dick Graff, who had Chalone Winery, was in the 70s growing Pinot Noir up in the Pinnacles area in Monterey. And he and I had a very good relationship, and he saw what we were trying to accomplish here. So we had we were both pioneering in our own areas, and so it was great to have someone to communicate with about their pioneering effort. And then ultimately we got together on a regular basis and created what was called, Dick created the Small Winery Technical Society. And so a number of us got together on a quarterly basis, tasted each other's wines and discussed them, and helped each other in learning about how to deal with the grapes from our regions. Both of us are interested in traditional winemaking, and so we were looking to Burgundy for the expertise in winemaking, using well, the fermentation vessels, for instance, in Burgundy are low and squat, so that you have the appropriate skin to juice ratio. When the cap rises to the top, of course, you punch it down and mix it around in the wine. And so using the strategies of Burgundy winemaking, trying to do the same thing with the Pinot Noir in California, was pretty exciting, because those early days, it was all quite experimental.
I've been drinking wine up here just for a short, I don't know, 12 years, and I've seen changes in that time. Tell us about some of the changes that you've seen since first coming out here up until today.
Oh my goodness, it's a huge difference. In the beginning, of course, it was experimental, and we planted all different grape varieties when we did vineyard plantings those days. Not wanting to put all of our eggs in the same basket, of course. So the first generation of wine growing was that sort of experimental, planting the vineyards, seeing what did well in different places. Well, about the same time, the Firestone family was planting vineyards over in Los Olivos area, which is further in the Santa Ynez Valley. And the Santa Ynez Valley is a vast appellation. It covers quite a large area. There are different temperature, different climates within this large area. And I remember talking to Brooks Firestone 6 or 7 years after we planted our initial vineyards, and he had grafted all of his Pinot Noir to Cabernet, and I had grafted all of our Cabernet to Pinot Noir, just because we recognized the difference in climate. And grapevines are quite specific when it comes to climate, Pinot Noir particularly. And so, sure enough, my hunch was correct, that the cooler climate was providing excellent quality Pinot Noir. And so it's been very exciting to see the area develop. I had no idea it would develop so quickly, although, you know, it's been 41 years, and for a long time I was telling people, hey, we're out here making wine, but people weren't taking it very seriously in the very beginning. And you know, those days people in Chicago and New York were looking to Europe for their satisfaction and quality. And I spent a lot of time talking about our region. And I always thought that our region here in Santa Barbara area would be the wine region for the Los Angeles basin, as Napa Valley has become the wine region for the Bay Area. And that's come true now. I think, I can't tell you how often people would say, we're going to the wine country. Los Angeles people say, going to the wine country, and they fly right over us. And I say, oh, you're going to the other wine country. But you know, now that we have credible wines here, very high quality, some wonderful young winemaking people here that are pushing the envelope and really working hard to create wonderful wines. People in Los Angeles are very proud of the wine region.
Being here, the length of time that you have, I'm sure you've seen a lot of changes in the wine industry as a whole. What direction or trends do you see for the wine industry?
I think that over time, Pinot Noir continues to be elusive. I think that it is one of the most beautiful wines when done properly. I think when grown in climates that aren't appropriate, it can be coarse, but it has caught the imagination of a lot of young winemakers, and I'm excited for them to be really pushing the envelope from the standpoint of different methods of fermentation, whether we ferment whole cluster, whether we keep stems or not stems, how long the fermentation lasts, how long you age the wine in the wood, what kind of wood to use, when to pick the grapes, what sort of alcohols and that sort of thing. So there are constant discussions and constant, every year we have an opportunity for experimentation, one time a year. And so we see all these experiments going vintage to vintage. And I think that with the experimentation going on, and with the notoriety that some of these wines are achieving, the best is yet to come.
Oh, I'm ready. I'm ready. Thank you so much for joining Wandering Wino, and much congratulations to your induction into the Vintners Hall of Fame. So very well deserved.